Hello. Hello, and happy Friday. Welcome to this YouTube Live. This is reminiscent of Midwife Mondays of the past. I don't know if any of you here used to come to those, but feels like old times. So thanks for being with me here today. This shouldn't take very long. I am just here to connect today and tell you a little bit about our new program for practicing midwives called Elevate. So, if you would like to introduce yourself in the chat or just say where you're from, that's always welcome. And if you already have questions on your mind for me, that is also welcome. But in consistent Indie Birth Midwife Monday form, I am going to choose a card for us for this short little gathering. And first, if you're able, if you're willing, just kind of centering yourself in. And this, of course, is typical for us here anytime we do live meetings or gatherings or in person gatherings, but also feels important as I talk about this new program today for midwives. Because really, the very first step in elevating ourselves on the soul level in our practice is to find ourselves in our own bodies. So, starting meetings like this isn't on accident. So, if you're with me, like I said, if you can and if it resonates, just close your eyes for just a minute. Just noticing what you hear around you. If you're in a space of stillness, that's perfect. And if you're not in a space of stillness, then it's also perfect. Just observing and tuning into all of the sounds that are close and all of the sounds that might feel far away. And taking this opportunity just for a minute here on YouTube, of all places, to find yourself. Calling your soul back into your body. Perhaps it's been a busy morning or a busy day. And just feeling yourself come into your body. Maybe your feet are flat on the floor. Maybe you feel your back touching your chair. Just associating ourselves with the bodies that we ride in here on earth and just making that connection, uniting that spirit and physical form just for a moment, just as a gift to yourself right now in this little bit of time. And feeling that connection of your body with your spirit in whatever ways you do. And just noticing your breath. Maybe it feels a little shallow. Maybe it feels like you're not breathing at all. I feel like that's a common thing. So just noticing and remembering that breathing is life, and asking your body to breathe or restore the breath in whatever way is necessary right now. Thanking your body for all of its gifts. Taking a last deep breath, inhale and exhale, and opening our eyes, just showing up together for this little bit of time here on this Friday afternoon. So, hello, welcome. I'm Marin, for those of you that don't know. And I did promise picking a card. So now that we've settled ourselves, I'm going to do that. And perhaps this will direct the conversation and the discussion around our new Elevate program. Sweet. Well, that one's pretty perfect. It's the Divine. I love these cards. They're called Roots and Wings by Kat Ryle. So look at that beautiful card, the divine. Perhaps the divine mother looks like kind of a mountain, the earth, whatever the divine means to you. And that feels just about perfect in talking about this Elevate program today, because at the simplest level, I think that's what Margot and I are wanting to create, is a container for midwives that are already doing this work, whether they're new or have been doing it a long time. Setting a container for people to really find themselves in a deeper way. And for most of us, that's remembering our soul, remembering our connection with the divine. Same thing in my mind. So that was absolutely, of course, without accident, the perfect card. The link, I believe, is in the heading for this YouTube Live today, the link for the Elevate program. So feel free to check that out. And I'm just here to tell you more about it and see what questions people have. So I'm so curious if people want to chime in on the chat, if they are already midwives, if they're just here because they're curious and maybe they're not midwives, that's totally fine too. Even if you're not a midwife, if you have a question to put in the box, that's always appreciated. Can't know what people want to know unless they ask. But I'll start kind of at the beginning and try to give a simple overview of this program. So, as many of you know, we have had a midwifery school for many years, and we also have a doula training. And both of these are, I think, really solid trainings. Specifically, the midwifery school is a 20-month program, and I feel like it's a great representation of combining the sacred aspect of learning birth and learning to midwife with the science. So many of you here are in our program, and I know one of the questions asked maybe over on Instagram in regards to today was, is this for Indie Birth Midwifery School students? And the answer is 100% yes. We have restrained ourselves many of the time during the Indie Birth Midwifery School curriculum in not adding too much of the sacred work that comes from a really deep place because we think just foundational midwifery training is enough, and that takes a lot. And secondly, we feel that people are ready for the next level, hence this Elevate program, once they've had some time to allow all of the knowledge to settle, all of the foundational knowledge to settle, to have completed an apprenticeship, and ideally to be out in the world working as a midwife. So this is next level. It's not the same. It's based on the same principles that Margot and I both hold very dear to us: sovereignty, autonomy, the idea that the work we do within is reflected without. So we hear all of the time from midwives that have been doing this, whether it's 1 year, 10 years, 30 years, whatever, often that they are super frustrated at times, if not more often than at times. They're frustrated with the fact that midwifery has become, uh, co-opted by the medical model. And this is happening across the board. This is happening in midwifery schools. We are churning out midwives, even home birth midwives, that have no knowledge, no experience, no connection to the sacred aspect. They have never looked within because that's never been modeled for them, because birth is very physical, it's very external. And as the midwife, that role looks very different than the role I feel I carry and am here to offer to the world. So, I am not a mini doctor. I am not there to save anyone. And getting really clear on who you are as a midwife is essential. And I don't care if you've been doing this for 15 years. If you haven't gotten clear and or you're unsatisfied, you're disgruntled, you're burnt out, you're cynical about all of the things midwifery and birth related, then this program's for you, because this container that Margot and I are setting will force you in a loving way, right? Because we're kind of midwifing the midwives, force you to sit with yourself and sit with your soul and what your soul is asking you to do here on this planet, because we are not all the same. I am not the same midwife that you will be and that someone else should be. We are not here to do the exact same job, although, yes, we are here to witness birth often and serve women and all of those great things. The individuality is a piece that most people stop. They stop there. They get to that point and they have the license and they have the piece of paper or whatever, and they think that's it. And I was no different. 10 years ago, I never would have dreamed, in a sense, that there was so far to go, and there's still so far to go. Really isn't an end point to developing yourself as a woman, as a midwife, as a soul incarnated on this planet to serve women. So I'm going to take a quick look at the questions here before I babble more. Awesome. Well, of course, it's so nice to see everyone, and it is so extra nice to see our Indie Birth Midwifery School grads here. There are quite a few, and some midwives as well. Welcome, welcome. Sure. Let me talk just about the logistics of this program. So, we are talking about it right now. We are getting the word out. Please add your email to the link that is set there, and you will receive more information about this program. We will open up registration March 1st, and we will begin on or around the spring equinox, which I believe is March 20th, 21st, somewhere around them. It is a 6-week program. So right now we're in the stages of getting the word out, you all learning about what it is, if it resonates, if this is for you. And then, yes, to answer your question, enrollment will come on a first come, first serve basis beginning March 1st. And, we'll see. We'll see who is up for this first round come spring equinox. And yes, Schaefer, I do imagine that this will be something we offer, I don't know yet, a couple times a year at least. And let's see what else. I think I already said, I really hope that our midwifery school students do take advantage of this, because you guys already have like the foundation that we feel is so important. So you're not starting from scratch. And there will be a lot of opportunity within this community, this expansive Elevate community, to go as deep as you need to. So this isn't a cookie cutter thing, obviously. We don't work that way, right? So it's not like you're going to come into this program and all come out the same, doing the exact same things, representing the exact same type of midwifery. What Margot and I really, really want to do with this program and this community of passionate midwives is to inspire you, to show you the possibility of this role, and to learn right along with you, giving you ideas, giving you tools, giving you things to think about. Um, you know, encouraging you to investigate your beliefs and kind of going through so many of the things that we've learned through the years in our own practice that has brought us closer to our own truth. But again, it's not like a cookie cutter thing. So there will be things, I think, that really resonate, and you're like, yes, I'm going to incorporate that into my practice. That feels really good. Just like we started the meeting, let's breathe together, let's connect. Super simple way to start off a prenatal. There will be other things that maybe you leave and you're like, that's not for me, or that's not for me right now, or that's not for me with the kind of people I serve. So it is a very fluid experience, I hope. And again, the point is to inspire and remind us all that this is a sacred calling. And in this day and age, we have the privilege and opportunity to do this together. We have the opportunity to have an online community. We have the opportunity to have discussions and share questions all live together. These meetings will be recorded. So the way it will be set up is 6 weeks of instruction, 2 meetings a week, one from me, one from Margot. Everything will be recorded, of course. We know you have births. We know you're on call. We know you might be exhausted. All of the meetings will be recorded and in the class portal. Um, and in the portal as well, and many of you that are in our school already are familiar with how those classes look, but it's really intuitive. It's a great online learning program. And so in that portal will be the live meetings and tons of extra additional resources. So I'll be working hard. Margot will be working hard in between now and then to make extra videos for you on specific things we're talking about that we may not have time to cover in the live class. So lifetime access is the idea. If you are going to join along with us for Elevate this time or next time or whatever, you have lifetime access to this material. So you don't have to rush through it. If you're somebody that has a super busy birth month or 2 months, there's no pressure to keep up. You can go back and do this at your own pace. You can kind of zoom in and say to yourself, this is what I'm interested in right now. I really want to elevate my prenatal care. Let's see what their ideas are and kind of do it as you will. Yeah, I appreciate the midwife curious. I think that's just as important in a lot of ways, because inspiring midwives is also inspiring the women we serve, right? This is not a been there, done that kind of thing. And again, not to keep harping on traditional midwifery education, but to me, there's just something so dry and so old about it all at this point. Again, we need foundational knowledge, so I'm not knocking that. But, the textbooks and the different, more masculine patriarchal ways of learning have a place. However, when we're actually doing this, my experience has been I really have to leave that, right? I have to leave that and trust myself and do my own work to really meet a woman where she is. Like, there's no consulting a textbook for that. So, that's being a midwife to me is ultimate creativity, ultimate artistry, right? We have the privilege of offering that to people. And if they resonate, then that's great. And our matches are even more solid with the women that we're working with. Mackenzie, that's a great question. I think I was in the shower the other night when I was thinking about that question, because I do see that doulas could benefit from this as well, because we're not necessarily going to be teaching clinical skills, right? The clinical skills are what they are in my mind. Yes, there's a sacred way of doing them, and we might touch on that. So I don't have a great answer to your question. I think at the moment, at least for this first go around, we're going to focus on the midwives just to keep it really clear. But I think we'll be more clear after this first round if we should or could open it up to doulas or maybe offer something different. I can definitely see that there's benefit in that for so many reasons. The biggest one, and I think a lot of you here agree and know this, that there's so much overlap in our role when we're not considering ourselves to be the care provider in that medical way as a midwife. We find that the doula and midwife role, they overlap so much, right? So a doula is there for emotional support. Well, so is a midwife. A doula might have all kinds of tools and tricks to take a woman, deeper into her body and her consciousness. Well, so should midwives. So, totally see what you're saying. And I think stay tuned for that. And maybe in future rounds, we'll find a way to address both of these beautiful roles that we share. Yeah, Heather, thank you. I kind of can't believe we didn't come up with this sooner, but time is of the essence, and I feel like I do understand why. There's obvious reasons why now is the time for each of us personally, Margot and I both. And I do think the world is also at that point. There are so many midwives leaving the system. And so, even if you're not a midwife here today, you could share this call, you could share our Elevate link. I would love to see CNMs all over this country, registered midwives in the UK. I would love to see very medically trained midwives who are questioning themselves and questioning the system and leaving the system to find this offering, because I think those of us that have been, in this home birth world for a while, we're the obvious ones, right? We're the obvious group that would take this next step. But there are so many women out there, again, with the times of the world being crazy, where light bulbs are going off, and we get these emails all of the time. So that's my hope, right? That this isn't just for our little tiny indie birth midwifery school community. Although I love you guys and I want you to be there, but let's go out in the world and attract the medically trained midwives who are beautiful, wonderful people, who are done. They're done and they're questioning and they're sort of lost. And a lot of them, on one hand, never could imagine doing midwifery this way because it's just so far outside of how they were trained. And then on the other hand, the calling is still so strong and they see how they can't be themselves, right? They can't offer who they truly are to the world in that matrix. So I guess that's part of the call today, in a sense, is to help spread the word and share this with your CNM, CPM friends. We don't care. It doesn't matter how people were trained or where they came from. All they have to want to do, all you have to want to do is go deeper and learn more. And I feel like that's just a normal day. Yeah. So, Jacqueline, this is separate from the midwifery school curriculum. This is not required, this is not included. Many of our students will be ready for this, and some will not. And that's just the way it is. So, those of you that are ready, maybe you're in a serious apprenticeship, maybe you're already out in the world practicing, this is for you. And, our gift to our midwifery school students is to offer this certainly at a discount. So stay tuned for pricing. Margot and I are still working that out. Our feeling at the moment is that this will cost about the cost of one client. If you're a midwife, a full-time, part-time midwife, home birth midwife, you're not accepting insurance. Pretty much what one client would pay you for care is probably what this offering will be for the 6 week and then lifelong access. However, if you're a lucky Indie Birth Midwifery School student, we will be offering you a discount for sure. I'm not sure what it is yet, but we, of course, value you all so much for already being a part of this and already being on board. And, we care so much about our students and really wanting to help you all take that next step, right? So, also, lastly, or maybe not lastly, but one other point about this is part of this request has come from our students. It has come from past students saying, now what? Like, I'm out in the world and I see some of you here, like Tina, um, I'm out in the world and like, what now? Is there a group? Is there a peer review? Like, where are the other indie birth midwives? And so this is another way for those of us that feel that way to have a community and not just to hang out, right? Like, exchanging birth stories is helpful and fun, and I'm sure we'll do that. But to have a deeper sister circle for where we want to go in the world. And to me, I mean, you guys know me for the most part, like, that's the bigger vision, right? This is very much about each individual midwife. But just like it is with birthing women, this is the bigger picture of how are we going to change the world, right? What's the new earth? What's the new paradigm? How do we make it? And the only way we make this as midwives is to do it and to learn it and to explore it and to be in community together. No, you're just in time, Kayla. I didn't say too much about the content. And let's see. So Margot and I will be splitting the teaching, and I think she'll do her own live at some point and probably talk more about what she's offering. I don't want to speak too much to that because that's her thing, and I'm not quite sure exactly what that is. I know she'll be addressing some of the business aspect, some of the money aspect, and of course, in that deeper way. So, looking at self reflection, so much lack around midwifery at times, right? Like not making money, kind of strung out. It's a hard job. We don't get paid enough. Lots of belief systems there that I think she's ready to take on and go deeper with. I can speak to what I'm teaching, of course. And let's see. I really want to have those of you in this container get clear on a lot of basic things that at first might seem very basic. So I'm thinking along the lines of just what our roles are, what we want them to be, what we see them to be, what we project into the world, because the role of the midwife can look a million different ways. And again, it's not to tell you how that should look in your community. I don't know, but to offer you an example and an expansive way of thinking around it that midwifery is not what you were taught, probably. I mean, that might be a little piece, but it's also so much bigger and more open than that. So, exploring basic belief systems, getting clear on who we are, what we want, what we can offer. I really am passionate about client connection and um, choosing the correct people for our own vibration to work with and having that be a great match. There are so many experiences and stories out there, and I've had them too in the past mostly, um, where the lack of integrity with choosing people to work with because we're not clear on who we are and what we want can kind of snowball into uncomfortable relationships or, at worst, maybe outcomes in birth that aren't ideal and are a result of this lack of true vibrational match. So, talking about how we achieve that with the women we serve, what to do if that's not happening, what to do if that's not working, setting our space, especially for prenatal care, so that again, we're really intentional. And I can speak from so much experience here. I've been doing this for 15 years, and truly, the first 10 or 12 were done in the way that I was shown. And there was nothing wrong with that. And I love doing it. And, I think women still got great care. But I'm so grateful for the experiences and opportunities that had led me to a place where I realized I could do this differently and I could do this in a way that felt really good for me and felt more authentic rather than just imitating what I saw in my apprenticeship, even though that was great. So it's like the sky's the limit, Kayla. When you're reinventing yourself as a midwife, there are so many ways that can look. And ultimately, the clearer you are on who you are, the better experience you're going to have and the better experience these women are going to have. And elevating yourself kind of to this soul level of practice also negates a lot of the stupid issues in midwifery, competition or thinking, you know, you have to do it like this midwife or all of the shit in midwifery that we do to each other. It's irrelevant. When you're really in your own truth and your own light, it doesn't matter to you what other midwives do. And in fact, it makes it even easier to also find resonant midwives to work with and remove the ones from your field that are not resonant. So that's an option too. Other topics, yeah, so I named a few: setting the space, all about, my take on birth as a ceremony and things that we can hold space for with our clients, from deeper counseling and conversations to actual ceremony. I think we'll have some guest speakers, so I'll kind of wait to announce that. We'll have at least one guest speaker, another midwife friend, and we're probably going to have some other extras thrown in there as well. So I think it's going to be amazing. I am so excited. I am so honored to just offer my own heart where I am right now and see how it all lands for those in this course. My sense is that it's going to be really great. And the midwives that are ready for this are ready for this, and they're going to make the time, and they're going to be excited, like maybe for the first time in a long time. excited to explore, kind of like a little kid, just explore and create, and no one's holding you to any of it. So I think it's going to be amazing. Yeah, definitely, Kayla. So my feeling right now, and this could change a little bit. My feeling right now is that with the live lectures, I mean, I hate to call them lectures, live teaching presentations, there will be a large chunk of time for community sharing and kind of like circle. So that's really important, right? It's not just going to be Margot and I talking at you like this. There has to be space for vulnerability and open sharing and exchanging ideas. So, yes, 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 and yes. And as this offering evolves, so as we run this first round, we're going to learn a lot. We're experienced teachers. We've been teaching online for a very long time. And what I know for sure is that you learn every time how to make it better and how to really meet what people are needing. And we're very curious about that. So, for example, again, don't hold me to this, please, but something like a peer review or birth story sharing, there's probably going to be a need for that sort of separate from the course material we have planned. So, we're not opposed to those ideas. We want you to not only learn and explore, but leave feeling like you have a community of sisters to keep this conversation going. So, I think that's it for me. This has been a longer blab than I thought, but I get so excited talking about it. I'm really um, anxious, and not anxious in a bad way. Like, yeah, just excited and curious to see how this unfolds. Really can't wait till we get to spring equinox to do this together. And in the meantime, it's just going to be a flurry of creating on Margot's and my end to get this ready and to keep communicating it like this to you all so that the right people show up. I know they will, but in this very busy world of constant engagement on social media and millions of emails, you're going to hear us talking about it a lot if you're paying attention, because every time we talk about it, like 1% of people hear it. So we're going to keep talking about it, and we're going to keep sharing details. And as soon as sign up opens March 1st, you're welcome to join right in, and we'll be ready come spring equinox. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for having great questions. Make sure to sign your name up, your email at the link there so you can get more information via email, and let us know if you have any questions. All right, everybody, have a beautiful day and a really great full moon in Leo. Margot and I will be on our Zoom meeting. That is also a YouTube live. I want to say that's Monday. I think Monday is our full moon Zoom. So check the calendar, check social, check Instagram. I'll see you soon. Have a great day.